Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding what you might call the architecture of market intelligence. We're going to unpack a single highly potent piece of corporate messaging, the foundational brand identity of Polymer Bazaar. Now, if you're operating in the high-stakes, rapidly shifting world of industrial commodities, well, you know your market strategy can't just be some vague concept floating around. It needs to be a structured, undeniable framework. So we're going to explore exactly how core principles of market analysis are communicated directly through visual and textual structure. It sets up this premium, authoritative tone right from the very first glance. Just take a look at the stark, three-dimensional, interlocking P and B. I mean, this isn't just a flat graphic, right? The visual design is actually doing the heavy lifting before you even read a single word. It's built like a literal structural monolith, which perfectly represents the heavy industrial nature of the petrochemical and polymer markets. And the color psychology here, it's incredibly deliberate. We've got this deep industrial black that really grounds the image, signaling raw materials, unwavering stability, and serious corporate authority. And then boom, you have that striking primary red. That red injects the sense of energy, market urgency, and decisive action. Notice how those two letters interlock so perfectly? It's this great visual representation of how raw data and strategic action absolutely must fit together seamlessly to create a solid foundation for any market strategy. Okay, let's dive into this core corporate framework. Sitting directly beneath that monolithic visual is a rigid, step-by-step methodology for navigating these incredibly complex markets: price, prediction, and profit. It's a strictly logical progression. You literally cannot jump straight to the end. You have to follow the architecture. So let's break down exactly what each of these distinct pillars represents in the strategic pipeline. The sequence kicks off with step 1, price. Now, the absolute crucial point here is that in the complex, highly volatile petrochemical landscape, price is your fundamental anchor. It is the essential starting data point. I mean, you can't strategize, you can't forecast, and you for sure cannot succeed if you don't first have an absolute real-time grasp of the baseline reality of the market. Price is the raw, unedited truth of what is happening right now. Think of it as that sturdy black structural block we just talked about in our visual analogy. Every single successful market participant has to start right here, facing the hard data of current valuations. But as we all know, raw data on its own is, well, it's pretty passive. Let's move to the next phase and see how this builds into prediction. This is your strategic shift toward actionable foresight. To gain a real competitive advantage, you have to apply an analytical edge to all that data. This step is all about taking those current prices, analyzing the historical trends, factoring in the crazy global market dynamics, and ultimately projecting where things are headed next. It's the critical bridge in the whole framework. Because look, without prediction, you're just reacting to the market. But with prediction, you are positioning yourself way ahead of it. And this brilliantly illustrates the final pillar, profit. Notice how this sits at the very end of the sequence. In this architecture of market intelligence, profit is absolutely not presented as a guarantee, and it is definitely not a random stroke of luck. It's defined strictly as the calculated result of mastering those first two elements. If you accurately capture the price and you successfully leverage prediction, then profit is the logical structural outcome. The whole framework makes a really bold statement. Financial success in these markets is a downstream effect of rigorous intelligence and disciplined foresight. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to just step back and look at the whole picture with me. We've seen how a commanding visual presence, those bold, interlocking structural blocks, mirrors a perfectly disciplined three-step methodology. It is an incredibly efficient way to communicate a highly complex market philosophy. So, as you go back and look at your own strategies, I want to leave you with this to contemplate. In a constantly shifting, complex market, are you just reacting to the daily noise? Or are you relying on a strictly data-driven progression from raw price to intelligent prediction to ultimate profit? Think about the architecture of your own intelligence. Until next time, keep analyzing and keep learning.